The book of Revelation is actually simple, but the only way to understand the book of Revelation is to take the words that Jesus said while he was walking on earth and apply them to the book of Revelation. Then we can understand Revelation. So when Jesus was on earth, he talked to the Jews in Jerusalem. He said that the Gentiles would come and trample the city, Jerusalem, underfoot until the times of the Gentiles were fulfilled. And that was the time there would be great wrath upon that people. So what is the wrath? The wrath is whenever the Gentiles come, trample the city underfoot. Now go to Revelation. Revelation said, chapter 11, verse 1, 2, it said, John, arise, measure the temple, the altar, and them that worship therein. But the court that is without the temple leave out, for it's given unto the Gentiles. And they shall trample the holy city underfoot for 42 months, until the times of the Gentiles were fulfilled. So the book of Revelation tells you how long it was, and that was the wrath. Now Jesus on earth said that whenever the Gentiles came and trampled that city, that there would be great wrath upon this people, the Jews, and that they would fall by the edge of the sword and be led away captive into all nations. And then you go read the beast. So you've got, so far we've talked about the Gentile armies come. So the Romans come, trample the city underfoot for 42 months. The Jews fall by the edge of the sword and are led away captive. The beast was given power to continue for 42 months. And he said, hear what the Spirit says. If you lead into captivity, you shall go into captivity. If you kill with the sword, you must be killed with the sword. What happened to the Jews? Jesus' words on earth. He said the Jews would fall by the edge of the sword and be led away captive in all nations. So who was the beast? Unbelieving Israel. How long were they able to continue? Blaspheming his name, his tabernacle, and them that dwelt in heaven? 42 months. But what was happening to them in that 42 months? They were being killed with the sword and led away captive into all nations until the times of the Gentiles were fulfilled. While Jesus was on earth, he told the believers that whenever they saw the armies come, know that the desolation thereof was nigh, and it was even at the doors. Know that the temple was about to be destroyed. Not one stone would be left standing upon another in that temple, and their house would be left unto them desolate. And he told the believers whenever they saw those things to flee Judea, get out of Judea, don't enter back into the country because of that great wrath that would be on that people. In the book of Revelation, chapter 12, what happens? The dragon's cast down. He knows that he has but a short time. He persecutes the woman that brought forth the man-child, and she flees into the wilderness for 1,260 days, which is the equivalent of 42 months. The Jewish calendar back then was 12 months of about 30 days a month. He said that when those believers fled, that they would see the sign of the Son of Man coming in the clouds. So that is talking about the sixth seal. Whenever they cry for the mountains and rocks to fall on them and cover them and hide them from the face of him that sat upon the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb, for the great day of his wrath had come. So he was coming. He came on the clouds. And what did they do then? Jesus in Luke, whenever he was talking to the daughters of Jerusalem, he said, Daughters of Jerusalem, weep not for me, but weep for yourselves and your children. For the days are coming whenever they would cry for the mountains and rocks to fall on them and cover them. That's what happened under the sixth seal. It happened in their lifetime. And then people talk about the reign of Christ. But Christ told them what his reign would be. He said that whenever he came back in the glory of his Father, with all of his holy angels, that they would be given 12 thrones to judge the 12 tribes of Israel. And what did he say in Revelation? You who overcome, those who didn't love their lives unto the death, they would sit down on the throne with him, be given the rod of iron, the Roman kingdom, the Roman people, the iron kingdom, and they would break Israel into shivers. It was about judging Israel. That's what Jesus told them on earth, and that's what he told them in Revelation. So we've got the rod of iron, we've got them in heaven, we've got the Jews falling by the edge of the sword, the beast falling by the edge of the sword and being led away captive into all nations. And the beast carried Mystery Babylon. Mystery Babylon sat upon 7 hills. Israel carried Jerusalem. Jerusalem was a city on 7 hills. What did it say about Mystery Babylon? It said that in her was found the blood of the prophets and of saints and all that were slain upon the earth. What did Jesus say while he was on earth? He said, O Jerusalem, Jerusalem, thou that killest the prophets, and stonest them which are sent unto thee. He said all the blood of all the prophets would be required at the hands of that generation, from the blood of Abel until the blood of Zacharias, whom they slew between the temple and the altar. And then he said, Behold, your house is left unto you desolate. And under the vials, on the last day, Mystery Babylon was destroyed. What happened to Mystery Babylon? She was made desolate. Her desolations came in 1 hour. She was thrown down. Her precious stones, Jesus said in Mark, "Do you see this temple adorned with goodly stones? Not one stone in this temple will stand upon another that will not be thrown down." And the abomination of desolation, their house was left desolate. So Mystery Babylon, Jerusalem, who in her was found all the blood of the prophets, and they killed the prophets and the saints and all that were slain upon the earth. And Jesus said a prophet cannot die outside of Jerusalem. You don't believe me? Look it up. And then Mystery Babylon was made desolate in 1 hour. Her desolations came. And he said, "Rejoice over her, you holy apostles and prophets." This is what it says in Revelation. "Rejoice over her, you holy apostles and prophets, for I have avenged you on her, and reward unto her, even as they rewarded you, and reward unto her double." So, what did Jesus say on earth about that? He said to Jerusalem, "Here said the wisdom of God. God will send you apostles and prophets, and some you will slay, and persecute, and crucify, that all the blood of the prophets may be required at the hands of this generation." And in their generation, all of this happened. In their generation, all the words of Jesus were fulfilled. Jesus told them when talking about all these things on earth, he said, "This generation will not pass until all these things are fulfilled." Well, what happened in that generation? In that generation, the Roman armies came in 66 AD, 3.5 years before the temple was destroyed. And they trampled the city underfoot for 42 months. The Jews fell by the edge of the sword, were led away captive into all nations. The believers fled into the wilderness whenever they saw this happen, to never be heard from again. They looked up, for their redemption drew nigh, and the desolation thereof was nigh, even at the doors. And the temple was left desolate. In 1 hour, very quickly, it was destroyed, and the precious stones and the goodly stones were thrown down. So the question is, how as Christians, Catholics and Protestants, rejected everything that Jesus Christ said and did? Everything that Jesus Christ prophesied about did happen in that generation. It already came to pass, but they're looking for it all to come to pass again, like none of it ever happened. They're saying there has to be a new temple. Jesus didn't say that. He said not one stone in that temple would stand upon another. They're saying the believers have to flee today. The believers fled back then. Everything that they're looking for already happened in history, so why are they blaspheming God, Jesus, and everything that already happened? Give me a follow, subscribe. I have more in-depth videos explaining Revelation in a lot more detail, including just specific points of Revelation and the whole book itself. And check out my description for ways to support and my books on Amazon.